greats on the land. I said, look at it.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to start with this notification from this. I'm good yet. I just want to get them up, push share so I can sit down. I'm going to just go to your page, share it from there.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Praying that the Most High will guide my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, and my speech as I approach unto you, his people. May the Most High be praised forever and forever. So we're getting started at the beginning of the lesson. 1 second, please. Peace. Had me up here half dressed. Had to get right. Excuse me. We're getting started at the beginning of the lesson. We're going to talk about some of the things that we're going to discuss today. So you might want to go out and share the room, invite people in, attach people to your post, whatever you're going to do, because we're trying to hit that 8 million mark. We did good with last week's Shabbat class. We got like almost 4,000 views. That's good. That's a record for us. Temple Kifarim, Goshen. That's a record for us. We've never hit such high numbers before. So we pray that the Most High is pleased with our efforts and that's a sign that we're on our way to that 8 million mark, where we're trying to reach 8 million people walking, hearing the words of the Most High, changing the direction of their lives for the better, to give the Most High the glory, the praise, and the honor, and the respect that he deserves. We don't give him his respect.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, family. But we're here today. Let me make a slight adjustment here so we can do this thing like we're supposed to. Okay, I think that might be a little bit better for those in the listening audience. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Now, I won't have the opportunity to stop and greet everybody, so I say Shalom to you anyway. May the Most High be praised with your efforts in all that you do to give him his proper glory and his praise.
I need that. I need that.
that manifest inside your spirit. It says, "Hear, O Israel, the Creator, our power, the Creator, our power, is one." This is how we're going to start the lesson. So we're going to get everybody focused. The Shema speaks about, you can find that song written in the scriptures in Deuteronomy 6, starts at verse 4, I believe it is. It says, "Shema Yisrael, Yotzei Eloheinu, Yotzei Echad." The Creator of our power is one power. He's not multiple powers, he's one power. And you shall give him praise, honor, and respect. And you shall love him with all your mind, all your soul, and all your might. Okay? We're going to speak today. This is kind of like a little covert lesson. But it's going to be exposed. It's going to be brought to the forefront. It's going to be revealed. And it's going to be shared with you in a manner that I pray is acceptable to the Most High King. In a way in which you will walk away from the lesson increased in your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and transformed and changed into a better person from this day forward for the rest of your life. There are many of us who fight addictions in our lives, fight habits, things that we know we should not do, but we do them. Some of us are struggling on different levels than others, trying to accomplish and conquer these things, but we fall victim. No matter how we set our minds to do right, we continuously fall victim to these same vices that holds us back from being favored by the Almighty. And in the process, while these things are still attacking us and plaguing us, but yet we still calling on the name of the Creator, professing that we're Hebrew Israelites, walking in the world trying to get people to turn to the Almighty, we still holding on to those vices. We still allowing those evil things to be within our essence, in our spirit. We don't attack it, we don't fight it, and we don't alleviate it from our presence. Thereby making us what they call, what's that word? They have a word for that, for people who say one thing and do another. Hypocritical. That's right. It makes us hypocritical of what we pronounce and promote to the world, being the children of the Almighty. We are supposed to live in a level of excellence before all humanity. Humanity is supposed to see the children of Israel and be like, wow, I want to be like them. But instead, if humanity only knew what we did in the dark, what we do by ourselves when we get secluded, if humanity only knew what we did, humanity would kill us, destroy us, run from us, and flee from us. The Most High will bring down his wrath. He's going to bring it down anyway. He's bringing it down on a lot of our lives right now, and yet we still pretend as if the Father is not dealing with us, as if he's not speaking to us. Listen, let me tell you something, family. You can tell when the Most High is dealing with you in your life, trying to give you an opportunity to get right, because everything you do, 90% of everything you do will not work out for the better for your increase. You can be without a job. All of a sudden you get a job and something happens to the money from the pay and you can't pay your bills. Either you get robbed, or the government comes up against you and take your check, or anything. It's just strange how the Most High does what he does. You can be just somebody will loan you some money, and you'll put that money that they loaned you up because you know what you got to do with it. It's hard. Life is hard. So the moment somebody loans you money, let's say they loan you $75 so that you can pay your light bills to get your electric turned back on because your electric is off. And you go pay your electric bill, the $75, the money you borrowed, you go pay your electric bill, then your water get cut off. And then after your water get cut off, you get the water back on, the gas is off. Then the mortgage company wants to foreclose on your house, or the landlord wants, these problems just come from everywhere. You know why? Because you are not walking right before the Most High in your integrity. Therefore, you are always searching for different remedies and different answers to solve the problem, as if you can do it without the Most High's blessings. And you can't. You can't wage war against the Creator and expect to win. The only way you're going to win, the only way your life is going to change for you, is if you truly submit yourself to the will of the Creator and do your best to be your best 24 hours a day. You can't partly or part-time serve this King. It has to be all the way. Your integrity must be right. Your integrity means, Creator, I've lived my life and done the best I could possibly do to please you. With the exception of when I saw that girl with the big booty and I chased her down and hollered her down, and then I got her number and took her home and we had sex that night. I never made her my wife. I impregnated her. She had a child by me and I left. Now, majority of those things that I just said are things that happen in everyday life with a lot of Israelites who profess to be servants of the Most High. And they do this. This is new. This is nothing new for them. This is regular for them. A lot of the people, we got this addiction where we're hooked on drugs. And this drug habit is strongly embedded within us. And we don't pay attention that it's an addiction. We think that it's okay, I can handle it. You know, it's cool. It ain't messing my life up, but it is. It's preventing you from getting where you need to go, where you need to be, but you can't see it yet. We're going to discuss some of these things in the class today. You know, because we all say we want to go home. We all say we want to return back to the Most High. We all say we want to live our best life. But yet, very few of us are putting forth that real serious effort to change our lives, to be the best that we can possibly be. It's not that we can't do it. We can do it. The power, the ability lies within us. And it has a lot to do with our relationship and our association back unto the Most High King. When the Most High says, return to me, Israel, he means return. He didn't say part ways. He said return. He wants all of us, not some of us. He wants all that we have to give. And until that time comes, the Most High is going to bring down his wrath, his punishment. He may spare our lives, but our lives are going to be difficult. It's going to seem like no matter how hard we try to do work, we can't get above where we need to be. Your finances is not going to be happy. Your wife, your husband is going to be discomforted with you. It's not going to be pleasing with you. Your own children are going to act a fool and not be right with you. Now, it could be one or any of these things, or it can be all of these things happening in your life, and that's just a sign of a Creator trying to get your attention. But oftentimes, we don't want to hear it, and we don't want to contribute that to the lack of service to the Creator. We think we just poor. We think we just having a hard life. We think life is just a challenge, a struggle, which it is, but it doesn't have to be. There are individuals whose life is made, is set up, is laid out for them because they trust in the Creator. It don't mean that they have all the riches in the world that a man can acquire. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that they dedicate themselves to the Almighty. It don't mean that one day they won't pass away from this life. Don't mean that. It don't mean that they won't get sick. It don't mean that. But it means that everything that they need, the Most High will provide. He provides. So that their life is not destitute. Their life is a blessing. Whereas if a brother comes to them and say, yo, bro, I need your help, that brother can say, yo, I got you. Let's make this happen. As opposed to saying, yo, man, shoot, I can't help you. I need some help myself. Ain't nothing I can do for you. I put up a post the other day on the page talking about a woman with multiple children.
Yes, you did.
And I told the brothers, I said, well, brothers, you meet a woman with multiple children, don't be afraid to take her. Because the more children you bring and taking care of and providing for, the more blessings that the Most High will bring in your life. So many people got upset about that. So many people got mad, but we missing the point. This is a child without a father. This is a child that doesn't have the proper guidance of the Most High in his life. This is a struggling woman who claims to be a servant of the Most High. If her actions are right, you have to prove her. That don't mean you just take anything and everything, and no matter what she do and how she acts, you just hold on to it. Because she may be trash. But you got to give her that opportunity to show that she wants to do right. Same thing with a brother. We got to have the opportunity to show that we want to do right. We got to get that chance. And once that chance comes, you don't give it up by doing that same old evil and wicked thing that you've been doing. You got to change your behavior, change your nature, so that you thereby change your character. A lot of us don't understand where the problem lies. Part of the problem lies in the foods that we eat. A lot of the problem and difficulties that we have has a lot to do with the foods that we partake and the things. When I say food, there are many different types of food that the body consumes. I don't want you to think, although my lesson will be geared toward the consumption of the mouth, I don't want you to think that that's the only type of food that the body consumes. There are television shows that you can watch. Your body is consuming it. You're eating it. The knowledge from them shows, the spirit from them shows, you are eating. You are digesting. And they are affecting your subconscious thoughts and your behavior, your customs, your traditions. Those videos you watch, those men showing those women shaking their butt all up in the air to the beat, smoking that weed and driving those big fancy cars, and all those things set our desires in all the wrong places. It's being food fed to our subconscious mind. And we not have the strength or the willpower or the understanding to know that I need to stop that. We don't understand. It's a spiritual warfare that they've waged against us, and they're finding many ways to conquer and defeat us. The radio songs that you listen to, your body is consuming that energy, those spirits, the type of music that you hear. One of my brothers was speaking the other day, did an excellent job. More Yaya, we were in Goshen. And he spoke about most people, not everybody, most people spend more time listening to secular music, rap music, love, sex music, way more than we listen to righteous entertainment, righteous music, music that's going to elevate you toward the Creator. We spend more time, more energy into those things than we do in things that's going to help us to alleviate the sin in our lives. This is a fact. You know, a weightlifter, skinny dude that wanted to be a weightlifter. He goes in the gym and he asks the gym teacher, "Sir, how can I get those muscles like you got?" Now this is the unrighteous man asking the righteous man, "How can I have all that you got?" So the weightlifter, the bodybuilder, the gym teacher, the instructor tells the little skinny puny dude, first thing you got to do is you got to eat a certain diet. You got to eat a diet that's rich in certain things so that you can bulk up and not create fat but create muscle. Then you got to work out. You got to exercise your body. You got to run. You got to jump. Can't smoke. You can't drink. Those things you shouldn't do if you're going to be healthy as a weightlifter, as a bodybuilder, as a sportsman. So, now this is the unrighteous man coming to the righteous man asking, how can I be like that? So the young man goes home. The first day the young man starts to watch his diet. He takes certain things out of his diet, moves it to the side, and he starts going to the store, buying things that's going to be good to bulk him up, to get him to his desired result. Are you still following me? I need you to understand where I'm trying to take you. So, after he leaves the store, he goes home, he's excited. He orders a juicer so he can start juicing. He gets the food from the store. He spends time in the kitchen. He's preparing his meals. He's making the food that he needs to eat to bulk him up, to get him where he wants to be. The unrighteous man, hearing the instructions of the righteous man and doing what the righteous man says for him to do, is going to get him where he needs to be. So, when he starts exercising, he starts a little bit at a time because his body is out of shape. He ain't in shape like the bodybuilder that's been building bodies for 30 and 40 years. He's new to this. So he do 10 push-ups. He do 15 sit-ups. He do 30 squats. You know, he run halfway around the block and he walks. After a period of time of consistency, that same young man got big and bulky and husky. It took him 5 years, but he was consistent. Every day he put in a little bit more than what he did the day before. When he went halfway around the block the first time, he went 3/4 around the block the next time. And then he went 4/4 around the block. He completed the circle around the block the next time. And then when he went a full circle, he didn't, two weeks later, he was able to run 3 times around the block. But he didn't give up. He was consistent. You know why he did this? Because the people teased him. The people laughed at him. The people said, "You're skinny, boy." And he was 19, 20 years old. And he looked like he was about 12 because he was so skinny. But as he started to bulk up, the more work that this young man put in, the more results. His chest was like mine, you know what I mean? His arms started getting husky like mine. The more work he put in, the more results he started to see. His abs was like my abs. See all the muscles in my abs? He started looking like Prince. You know what I mean? Started looking husky and thick. And all the people that used to tease him now looked at him with a different light, with a different form of understanding. That's the sinner, the young sinner that's trying to be like the righteous man. So he goes to the righteous man. He asks him, "Sir, how can I be like you? How can I get what you got? How can I live my life like you live your life?" So the young man, the older guy, gave him the instructions. This is what you got to do.
Right.
Like every Shabbat, you go into all these rooms and you hear all these words of all these people telling you how to build up your righteousness. But you don't do like the weightlifter did and go and get all the things that he needs to prepare his body, to prepare his mind, to prepare him to get to his end desire. You don't do those things. You understand? But yet you expect the results. How in the world are you going to get the results that you desire unless you put the work in? Put the time in. Make it happen. Manifest it in your life. Brothers look at you and say, "Yo, bro, I want to be like that." But what do you do to get there? Those vices you got in your life that's holding you back, one by one, day by day, you got to knock them down. You got to get them out your way. And when you get one out your way, the next day you jump on 2. The next day you jump on another one. Next day you jump on another one. Next day you jump on another one. And then eventually you'll get them all out of your life. And then as you do that, you will start to see a transformation take place in your life. You will start to see your abs forming. You'll start to see your arms forming. Your chest is starting to bulge. Your spirituality is starting to develop. You have less and less desires to sleep with women that don't belong to you. You have less and less desires to talk about people that you ain't got no business talking about. Sticking your nose in people's business where you shouldn't be sticking your nose. You got less and less desires that when 7:30 come around in the morning, you laying in the bed rather than getting up to try to create some work for yourself. You got less, when you live in that righteous life and you're getting all that stuff out of your life that is not righteous, that takes away from you, all of a sudden, hey man, I can think now. I can see now. It's clearer now. And we don't understand what a lot of those things that we eat, that we consume, clouds our vision. It prevents us from being our best, from doing our best, from developing to the best individual that we can possibly be. So we're going to read a little bit about this today. And we're going to try to bring out some things, to bring some lessons to the people, some encouragement, some help to the people so that they can better themselves, so that we as a people can stop being on the bottom and start rise to the top. Yeah. You understand me? This is what we need to do. May the creator of all creation be pleased with our efforts to honor his commands. May he, the mighty one of Israel, forgive us of our sins and forgive our forefathers for their sins, and cause his spirit of righteousness and truth to possess us and empower us to do rightly according unto his commands. May the Eternal forgive both us and our forefathers for our wickedness we have performed against him by serving other powers. I greet you all in the name of the Creator by saying Shabbat Shalom Lechem. May the Most High be praised forever and forever. Today I would like to speak about spiritual death plaguing our people, as I spoke about in the introduction. Many of us make small attempts to live a righteous life. We're so hypocritical of others. We are so judgmental, I should say, of others and the things they do. We're not going to all get to the end of the road, the reward, the same way. We definitely ain't going to all get there at the same time. So people who worship the Creator to the best of their ability, but yet do it different than you, it's not for you to criticize them, to destroy them, to tear them down, to bash them, to speak ill about them. It is your job, your responsibility to attempt to help them, to enlighten them. And through your enlightenment, if they reject it, then you wash your hands, dust off your feet, and go about your way. Okay? But if they accept it, then you got a job on your hands. But you got to be ready for that job. Therefore, keep your mouth shut till you get your own house in order. When you get your own house in order, then you begin to talk, to help, to heal, and to bring healing to a dying and destitute nation. Okay? Y'all understand me? All right. Because a lot of people want to open up Facebook and start teaching, and when you see them teaching in the background, the kids running all over the house, all wild. The woman come on the camera halfway dressed in the background, breasts exposed, hanging out. This is the way that they leave the house. There's no issue. That's why they don't have no problem when they on Facebook Live being this way. So these are things we have to first get in order. Teachers must know how to teach, because many people don't know how to teach. A lot of people can talk and express their interest, but who's expressing the interest of the Creator? Who's speaking on the behalf of the Most High? A lot of people giving their opinions. Well, I choose not to give my opinion. I have to do what the Most High says for me to do. And if you give your opinion, clarify it as your opinion. You know, that's most important. Because when people put trust in a leader, a spiritual leader or a moray, and then they hear the teacher say a certain thing, he doesn't say it's my opinion, they actually believe it's law. And it's not law. Let's move on. For many of us, we are spiritually dead. What do I mean by spiritually dead? When you want to do the right thing, but is drawn to do that which is known to be evil or negative. No matter what you try, just today the Shabbat, man, I'm ready to get started, but yeah, I gotta go get me a blunt. I gotta go smoke me some weed. Or I gotta go snort me some crack. Or I gotta have sex with my woman first. These things are evil to be done on the Shabbat day. I would say some of those things just evil to be done, period. But that's my opinion, and I have to clarify it as my opinion.
Right.
When you can't seem to get the feeling of reading and studying your scriptures. You know, sometimes you go through weeks and you don't crack your book open. You don't study. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. And the only time you crack your book is when you go to the Shabbat class. Or when somebody calls you and say, hey, where's that scripture? Other than that, you don't crack your book open. These are all signs of spiritual death. When you know these things are evil, but yet you do them anyway, these are signs of spiritual death. And these are some of the things that we got to get out of us. It's when you can't seem to make any dedicated prayers to the Creator. When you have certain distinct times that you have decided in your spirit that you're going to go and approach into the Creator, let's say 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and before we go to bed, then the minimum amount of time that you should approach the Creator is 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and before you go to bed, no matter what. If you dedicate yourself to saying grace or prayers over your food before you eat your food, and then after you finish eating your food, you thank the Creator for the food that you just consumed, then you must do those things. But what makes us weak so that we can't do those things is a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. They make us inconsistent. They make our minds is not thinking cognitive thoughts. It's not happening properly. The thinking process is not taking place in our minds, but we get so used to it that we don't even understand the severity of what these things are doing to us. We get so comfortable when depression is upon us. We're in a comfortable state and we think that it's normal to think about being depressed, to think about being hurt, to think about wanting to hurt yourself, to think about all the troubles of the world. That's not normal. Those things are not normal. Oh man, I'm so broke. I'm always broke. Man, I can't pay this. I can't do that. Man, the government got us all on lockdown. Man, I got to wear a face mask and I don't know what to do. This world is just destroyed. It's crazy, right? That's not normal. And when you approach it in that manner, you're approaching it in an unhealthy way. Why do I say that? Because what's going to happen is the pressure from all of that is going to come back on you and destroy you. It's going to make you depressed. First of all, they give you bad foods, and then they set the environment to make you depressed. You're definitely going to be depressed. And you know what the thing is? There are certain levels of depression that you could be depressed, severely depressed, and you won't even know it. Depression doesn't always mean you think about committing suicide. It doesn't. A lot of times depression can be you just want to lay in the bed today and don't want to get up out the bed to do nothing. You ain't got no job, so you don't want to get up. Why don't you want to get up? You don't want to get up because what's to do? I ain't got nothing to do. Let me watch the television or let me listen to the music, the radio. You don't do anything to promote elevation in your life. That's a form of depression. Now, how many people do you know like that in your life? Are you that type of person today? You see, it's a lot of forms of depression that we don't pay attention to. And a lot of the depression comes from the foods that we eat, the weed that we smoke, the cigarettes that we smoke, the alcohol we consume, the crack that we ingest in our bodies, the television shows that we watch, the radio shows that we listen to, the billboards the people that we associate, that we keep in our company. Certain people bring certain spirits. Those spirits might be more dominant than your spirit, and it will consume you, and you don't even know where it came from. Here it is, you're a straight man. Your homie, your boy that you get down with, that you willing to die with or kill for, he's a faggot. Undercover homosexual. You don't even know it. Undercover. But you and him rolling all the time. All of a sudden, you start getting these homosexual tendencies. Homosexual thoughts. Well, you know you're not a mo. Where's these thoughts coming from? How are these things real? I'm a straight up bona fide killer. I don't mess around with no niggas. I don't mess with men. I'm not like that. That's what you're thinking in your mind. But it comes because of your association with a homosexual that you don't even know. That's why you got to be careful the company you keep. You got to keep your spirit in the right place. The people that you have in your circle has to be of the same desires and passions as you. The desires and passion to please the Creator. You understand? Because if they're not, a lot of their negativity will come upon you if you're not strong enough, if your spirit and you're not firm in your ways. You ain't wavering. You're firm in your ways. If you're not firm in your ways, that girlfriend you got, she'll convince you to go against the Shabbat day. She'll convince you that you need to put on a skirt and go outside in the streets as opposed to wearing pants and go outside in the streets. Because her spirit is more dominant than yours. She'll convince you that to the point where she can smack you in your face back and forth and you won't do nothing about it. You'll turn the other side and let her smack the other side. Say, here, and smack this side too, baby. I'm yours. What do you want me to do? You want me to lick the floor with my tongue? Then you start licking the floor. Just to prove to her that you're her man, that you're submissive. And I'm real with this, family. And a lot of women, it's the same way with you. You will allow a man to take you down off of your square of righteousness just to prove to him that you're committed to him. Foolishness. He'll beat you upside your head every day, cuss you out, call you all kind of names and abuse you in every kind of a way. But because of your loyalty, your dedication, and you want to prove to him that I'm submissive to you, you allow that type of foolishness. He in the bed laying down sleep, you out working, making the dollars to take care of the family. Ridiculous. And then you come home and he won't even get up and clean the house. There's no help there. Well, I'm the man. You got to do what I say do. He is absolutely right. You have to do what he says do because you married him. And you didn't have to. So what I would do is, I would go to the leadership and ask for a divorce. I would keep a record and I would say, this is what takes place in my home. There's no way that you should be that docile that you allow that type of disrespect to take place in your life. Never. You understand what I'm saying to you? And especially if the man is putting his hands on you, that's even worse. Bring him up on charges. And I tell you, bring him up on charges and bring him up quick. Ain't no man got no business putting his hands on no woman ever for anything. And if you brothers, if you ever, and I used to be one of those men, so I'm speaking from experience. If you ever feel like you have to put your hands on your woman, it's time for you to leave her. It's time for you to leave her. If you can't control or get your, let's put it this way. If you can't get your wife to do what you need her to do with your voice, and out of sheer desire of her to please you, then you don't need her. You don't need her. There's no need to be wrestling, going back and forth and arguing and struggling with a woman. If she's going to serve you or she's not going to serve you, it's one or the other. And by service, it means it's something that you earn because you handle your business as a man. A lot of men, a lot of males don't handle their business as men. But yet they got a wife already and they want her to serve him. Well, because he's your husband, you have to serve him. But it's your problem that you married the fool. Okay? So who the real fool in that situation? It's so many real situations, real life situations that's going on today that so many of our people don't even know what goes on behind closed doors. But yet they'll be in Shabbat service talking about Shabbat Shalom. She'll be smiling, Shabbat Shalom. He'll be smiling, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Prince, Shalom, Prince. But home is out of order. These are the things that we're trying to deal with right now in these lessons. How to get home in order, in its proper place, in its proper perspective, so that you won't be, what's that word you said?
Hypocrite.
Oh, hypocrite. You say you're a servant of the Most High, prove it. Manifest it in your life. And if you can't manifest it in your life, find somebody that is and say, hey, yo, bro, listen, I want to learn how you do what you do. Teach me. Like that weightlifter, teach me, show me how to do what you do so I can improve and better my life. But that pride, when that pride gets in the way, a lot of brothers can't do that. For many of us, we are spiritually dead because of the foods that we eat, the company we keep, and the desires we entertain. Did y'all hear what I said? For many of us, we are spiritually dead because of the foods that we eat. The foods that we eat, the foods that we eat, the foods that we eat. We eat, we eat, we eat. We are spiritually dead as an effect of those foods that we eat. The company that we keep. Those people that you call your homie, your friends, your pal, your buddy, your brother, your sister, whatever you call them, but yet you know they're not living a life of the Creator, and you spending time with them, it brings a spirit upon you that will affect you. It will affect your spiritual growth, your spiritual development. Okay? And the desires we entertain. Man, I just like big booty women. Every time I see a big man, damn, hey, shorty, come here, yo. Next thing you know, you got a number. You creeping in, you tell your girl you're going to work somewhere. 12 o'clock at night, you creeping around shorty house, and you hitting it. And she letting you hit it. It's that demon inside of her feeding that demon inside of you, and you don't even understand it. You think you're getting over on one. All you're doing is getting over on yourself. Destroying your own life and your own future. Holding up and preventing prophecy from taking place of us leaving this land. You understand?
Yes.
Oh, man, I like booty. Your entertainments, your desires of these evil entertainments is horrible. These are the type of things that we have to get under control. Because if we don't get them under control, there's going to be very few things that we can do to alleviate this problem. The first one on that list was the foods that we eat. Let's deal with the foods first. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 4th chapter. Ezekiel, the 4th chapter. Let me know when you get there, please. Ezekiel, the 4th chapter. We're going to get it in, y'all. We're going to get it in. Hopefully, Creator willing, after you finish, everybody would have learned something great to take from this lesson.
Ezekiel 4th chapter.
Yes.
What verse?
First verse. First verse. Now we're going to lead up. We're going to start off in Ezekiel. We're going to lead up to somewhere. When I get to the place where I want to go, you know I'm going to start talking. Read on, please. You might want to come a little closer to the mic so the family can hear you.
Okay.
Because we don't have a microphone today. So slide your chair over here, please. That's great. Thank you.
Ezekiel, the 4th chapter, chapter 1. Hallelujah.
Somebody put that in the room, please. Ezekiel, the 4th chapter, verse 1.
Thou also, son of man, take thee a tile, and lay it before thee, and betray thee upon it in the city, even in Jerusalem, and lay siege against it, and build a fort against it, and cast a mount against it. Set the camp also against it, and let it battering rams against it round about. Moreover, take thou unto thee an iron pan, and set it for a wall of iron between thee and the city, and set thy face against it, and it shall be besieged, and thou shalt lay siege against it.
Now what the Most High is doing is he is symbolically allowing Ezekiel to represent the house of Israel. Ezekiel was the first man that we know of who took on the sins of Israel. They come along with that JC character, and they say that JC took on the sins of the world. Well, that's a different story. That he died for the death, for the life of everybody, for their sins. For those who believe in that, so be it. If that's what you believe in, that's one thing. We on a totally different place right here, right now. We talking about your salvation right now while you're here, while you live, and you still around, on the ground, and you're sound. Read on.
This shall be a sign to the house of Israel. Lie thou also upon thine left side.
Lay thou upon thy left side, Ezekiel. Read on.
And lay the iniquity of thy house of Israel upon it.
And lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it, your left side. Read on.
According to the number of days that thou shalt lie upon it, thou shalt bear their iniquity.
Ezekiel is bearing the iniquity of the children of Israel. And he's going to do it in our sight that we all can see. And hopefully we will understand and change our behavior. Read on.
For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity, according to the number of their days, 390 days. So thou shalt bear iniquity of the house of Israel. And thou shalt, and when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on the right side.
When you accomplish the 390 days, now you got to lie on the right side. And what's that all about? Read on, please.
And thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah.
You shall bear what?
The iniquity of the house of Judah.
You shall bear what?
The iniquity of the house of Judah.
He bore the iniquity of the house of Yahudah. Nobody had to die. So question yourself, family. Why was it that that other person had to die? I'm not being disrespectful. I just want you to question your actions. Read on, please.
And thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year. Therefore thou shalt set thy face toward the siege of Jerusalem.
Set thy face toward the siege. Read on.
Set thy face toward the siege of Jerusalem, and thine arm shall be uncovered.
When he says the siege, he's speaking about the destruction. Read on.
And thou shalt prophesy against it. And behold, I will lay bands upon thee, and thou shalt not turn thee from one side to another, till thy house ended the days of thy siege.
So what was he doing? He was taking on the iniquities of the children of Israel. That means all the abominations that we were doing before the Almighty. The prophet Ezekiel was taking on those iniquities. Now after this is over, prophet Ezekiel's going to get up and walk away. But now let me tell you something. He had to do some horrible things while he was on the ground. First of all, 390 days ain't a walk in the park.
Gang.
40 days ain't a walk in the park.
Gang.
You understand? So watch what takes place after this. Watch some of those horrible things that the prophet had to do during that time.
Take thou also unto thine wheat and barley and beans and lentils.
What? Now Ezekiel was suffering right now. The Most High gave him some proper foods to eat during his suffering. Are we suffering right now, family?
Okay.
In this life we living in? Is the majority of us suffering right now?
Okay.
We have no control over nothing. Right now they tell you to put on a mask, you dumb black person, you dumb white person, put a mask on your face and wear it for 6 months till I tell you it's over. What do? Bloop. And then we get mad at each other if they ain't got a mask on. And talk about them. Yo, this virus is real. I don't doubt that it's real. I don't doubt that it's real. But it ain't what they telling you that it is.
Okay.
You understand? It's not what they telling us. And we walk around masked up thinking that it's going to prevent something. If the mask was going to really prevent something, why I got to wear a mask if you got on a mask? If the mask worked, then you ain't going to get what I got, right?
Okay.
Am I right?
Okay.
That's what it means.
Okay.
So read on. He gives Ezekiel a certain food to eat at this time. What's that food that he gives Ezekiel to eat?
Take thou also unto thee wheat.
Let me explain this to you. For a man to lay on the ground 390 days on one side, 40 days on the other side, his mind has to have a certain discipline.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand what's taking place right now, so I'm going to try to share it with you. In order for Ezekiel to be successful in the type of discipline that he had to have, he couldn't be smoking weed.
Okay.
He couldn't be smoking cigarettes. He couldn't be smoking alcohol. He didn't even eat cow. Well, let me take that back. He ate a little portion of cow, but it wasn't the cow that you eat.
Okay.
Watch this. Read on. The food that he had gave him, he prescribed for him, had to bring nourishment to his brain, to his mind, to make him strong, that he could do what it is that the Creator told for him to do.
Okay.
The foods that we're eating today, family, these genetically modified foods that we're eating, made in some laboratory, sold in these supermarkets, are dangerous for us. But we don't even begin to understand the repercussions of how dangerous these foods are. We walking around with our legs swole up. My foot swole. I'm working with a brother yesterday. He's limping. I say, yo, bro, what's wrong? My foot swole up. I say, yo, change your diet. But I've been telling him that for 3 weeks. He won't change his diet. He's stuck on that meat. He keep eating that poison. This food ain't good. It's not real for you, but people don't understand it. Because why? We have been programmed to desire things that are not good for us. We like sugar, white sugar, brown sugar, green sugar, purple sugar. It's all poison. Don't eat it. Okay? Don't eat it. No forms of sugar. These are all things designed to destroy you from the inside out. You know, a lot of those limps you have, a lot of that pain you got in your body, I ain't talking about it might happen for a couple of days. I'm talking about that pain that keeps coming back, that's real. It's because of the foods that you eat. It's not good. Sometimes people have strokes and cancers and heart attacks, all types of things, and a lot of that stuff is preventable. And the way to prevent it is to just change your diet. Just change your diet. Now, Ezekiel his mind had to be fortitude. What does that mean, fortitude?
Focus.
That means unpenetratable. Nothing could get into his mind to distract him. And if you're trying to have a fortitude mind right here, living this way, do what Ezekiel did. What did Ezekiel eat during his days of fasting?
Take thou also the wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fitches and put them in one vessel.
Now, I'm not saying to you that you got to be vegan. I'm not saying to you, brothers and sisters, that you got to be vegan. But what I am saying to you is it will be best for you to be vegan. Because the food that they are giving us today is poisoning us. It's preventing our minds from fully opening up, being the best that we can possibly be. Yeah, agave is a good thing to eat. Agave is okay. Agave is a good substitute for sugar. But the foods that we are consuming is preventing our minds from being at its best. It's like if you got a car. Any of you got a car? Any of you brothers in Israel got a car? I got to ask you like that. Any of you sisters in Israel, do you got a car? Now, if you got a car, and your car runs off of gasoline, right? But this man get on the radio and say, I got some gas I got this water that if you put in your gas tank, your car help you get around the block. Would you buy that water and put it in your gas tank?
Not if we run out of gas.
Why not? You got more love for your car than you do for your body? Why wouldn't you do it?
Because I would say because it don't run on gas.
But when your mind is not thinking right, and you're not operating right on all cylinders, you will do what? You can't see the danger of putting that water in your car to get you around the block.
All right.
Wait a minute. He only said it's going to get you around the block. He ain't saying it's going to fuel your car where you can go wherever you need to go. It's only going to get you around the block. Same thing with the foods that we eat. When we eat these genetically modified foods, what they do is they give us temporary bursts of energy. And after those temporary bursts of energies are over, our bodies feel depleted. We sleepy, we sluggish. True. We don't feel like really doing much of nothing. We ate the food, so what we do, we go eat something else to temporarily give us the feeling of fulfillment, but not the true nourishment that our body needs to keep it moving. That car took that water and it took the car around the block. But it didn't get a car what it needed so that the car can maintain a comfortable ride. You had to put what the car was required to utilize to cause it to be able to go 30 and 40 and 50 and 100 miles if needed. That was gasoline. And even when you put gasoline in it, you got to put a certain type of gasoline. How many times do we think about that when we eat the food that we eat? You got to put certain types of food in our bodies to allow us to maintain the longevity of life. But what do? We eat McDonald's, we eat Burger King, we eat Kentucky Fried Chicken, Roy Rogers. Do y'all remember the Roy Rogers? Yeah. For those of y'all that might be like me, around 30, 39, 40. Roy Rogers. We remember Roy Rogers. Burger King, stuff like that. You put that type of stuff in your body. Then you go to the supermarkets and you buy foods from the shelf. You don't even read the ingredient. It's genetically modified. So if the food is genetically modified, it's like putting water inside your gas tank to your car. It's going to give you that moment of fulfillment. That water filled the gas tank up. But it's not what the proper thing needed to maintain the longevity of the vehicle or the lifespan of the vehicle. And that's what genetically modified foods do. This is why you have to grow your own food so you'll know what you're eating. This is why Goshen, we're here for the family. we actually put it, implement it, and put it in place, and try to encourage people to buy their own land. Go buy some land, grow some food, eat the food that you need to eat so you'll know where it comes from. And if you gotta go to the supermarket, be selective of the food that you buy. Be selective. Stop buying a house full of poison. Think about it for a second. They gave you a check. They give you a food stamp, public assistance, right? And they give you all this money on a card, right? Some people get as much as $1,000 a month, depending on the amount of children and depending on what state they live in. They take that money and go to the supermarket and spend $999 at the supermarket on poison. Macaroni and cheese in the box, hot dogs, hamburgers. You might even buy some fish. All that stuff is poison, but you don't realize it if your mind is not right. Ezekiel had to struggle. He had to go through. Can you imagine suffering for 390 days? And then another 40 days on top of that without having the right type of mind?
You can't do it.
Moses had to go into the mountain. Elijah went up into the mountain, fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Do you know what they ate up in the mountains? No cows up in the mountains.
Damn.
What did they do to prepare themselves for that journey?
They had to eat.
They had to eat properly, foods that's going to exercise their brain. They couldn't get up in the mountain and then go slaughter an animal and kill it. Oh, I got hungry, Creator. I just had to eat something. Don't go like that. If, when the journey was over and they finished their fast, what did they do? They ate what's around them. The vegetation.
Natural food.
The vegetation. We're going to cover this, family. And again, I'm not coming down on nobody. I'm trying to get you to see what we need to make a return back to the Creator. This is just one intricate part of it. Your diet is extremely important, but a lot of us don't even consider it. The things you smoke. Yeah, blow. What's up? I was at my son's house the other day. I'm outside knocking on the door, and the neighbor had her door open. And I'm sitting here looking, didn't realize what I was looking at. She was laying there with this bra on, titties all cut up in the bra, smoking, kids running around the house, and her boobs was almost like showing. They were out, but she had a little strap across the bottom so the nipples wasn't showing. Her little children watching her in her house, and the door is open, and she just sitting back. So look, I look and I say, well, what am I looking at? Because I kept seeing her going. So I didn't understand what it was. I was like, what is that? She's smoking weed out of a glass pipe. And this is a norm. People have programmed their minds for this to be acceptable. If it was something she was ashamed of, her door would have been closed.
Right.
She'd probably been upstairs in her room away from her children. But our minds is so whacked out of place. We're so messed up in our minds mentally that we couldn't even see that a good thing for you to do would be to marry a woman with multiple children so that those children would have a daddy. We can't even see that because our minds are stuck on stupid. Why can't a brother see that if he's in position, he's mentally, physically, spiritually able in the path of righteousness, and he see his sister struggling? She ain't got to be one of them bad sisters, but you won't know if you don't check her.
Dang.
You understand what I'm saying?
Dang.
We got to look out for those who are looking unto the Most High. If she's looking unto the Most High for her salvation, and you're supposed to be the one who bring the Most High salvation, then it's your job to make sure she cool. I'm not even saying you got to wife her. I'm not saying you got to make her your wife, but you need to be the head of that household and take care of her children and her and make sure that they cool. You ain't got to go broke for nobody, so you only make sure if you're in condition to do so. Nothing's wrong with you being a father for them children. You ain't got to be a husband to that wife. You probably would be, but we ain't talking about that sexual thing. Because our minds is so messed up from this poisonous food that we think that every time a man, associate with a woman, a female, it's got to be about sex. And it ain't about that.
Okay.
It's so bad that a brother can't even come and help you. Your car broke down the side of the road, and you driving down the street, and your car broke. Now I'm hypothetically saying a situation, but I need you to plug it in. Your car broke down the side of the road. You got your woman and your kids. You ain't got no spare. An Israelite brother see the back of your tag say "Told our Creator." He pull over to help you out. You worried about him looking at your wife. Bend down, baby. Sit, incline the seat back so he don't be looking at you. Get the kids. No, move over. Put all the kids in front of you. Because our minds are so sick. We can't see that this brother just sacrificed his time, his day, to come help me and my family. But I'm so worried about looking for evil in this brother that I can't see the blessing. You get your car fixed, you all done. Brother say, "Shalom, you cool out? You cool? You ain't got no gas now. Here go $5, get some gas." Gas only $2 a gallon. He gave you a little bit. Here go $5, get some gas. That's all I got, bro. He feeling good about that. All right, cool. Israelite brother leaves, flat fixed, $5 for gas. Israelite brother leave, and he got the nerve to say, "Yo, he was looking at you. You see how he was looking at you?
Oh, wow.
I seen him looking at you." That's because our minds are so sick. We can't see what we need to see. We can't. And a lot of that is based on the foods that we eat. You might not believe what I'm saying, but try to fast for a week. Just fast for 1 week. Just try to fast for 1 week. Restrain from all solid foods for 1 week. And watch you feel a new awakening come upon you. An alertness that you ain't got. A spiritual enlightenment taking place in your life that you never even understood was possible. And the only way you're going to lose it is when you go back to eating meat again. Now, I'm not against eating meat. If you want to grow your animals, you raise your animals, then you eat them. But the poison that they're putting in this food at these supermarkets, this stuff that they call meat, is dangerous. It's killing us. And too many of us doesn't understand how bad it's killing us. It's preventing us from receiving that true salvation that we say we want from the Creator. Let's read on a little bit more about Ezekiel's diet. What was Ezekiel commanded to eat? Read on again, please.
"Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley,
Wheat
and beans,
and barley and beans
and lentils,
and lentils
and millet,
and millet. All
and
these
venison.
things are natural things that the Creator gave in the earth. They were given by the Almighty as food for mankind. These are the things that you need to fortify your mind. Let me ask you a question, family, and be real with yourself. When the last time you ate a piece of fruit? If you say, "Well, I ate a piece of fruit 2 days ago," when was the last time before that? And the last time before that? When's the last time you ate something that didn't come in a package? That wasn't made in a laboratory? That came right out of the earth? When was the last time you did anything similar to that? So now, if you're not putting the proper gasoline in your car, how do you expect your car to maintain its usefulness and its longevity? So imagine what happens if you're not putting the proper things in your body. Because that's what we're doing. We're killing ourselves, but yet we're looking for great results. Remember that skinny dude? He went to that weight builder, the coach, so the coach can teach him. He had to put the time in to build his righteousness. What I'm giving you right now, the family, is an example of you putting in the time, making the sacrifice by changing your diet. Stop doing the things that's going to harm you and hurt you and prevent you from getting closer to the Creator. And start doing those things that you need to do that's going to fuel your passion and your desire to learn, to study, to read, and bring you alertness through your actions. A lot of you are stuck on those drugs because it's a deficiency in your body craving for those things. I got so much to share with you today that I got to hurry up and keep it moving. Because if I don't, I'm going to grab all your attention and you're not going to be able to get everything that I got to give you. So we're going to stop with Ezekiel there. Oh, no. It's a little bit more than Ezekiel. I want you to read first.
Okay. "And put them in one vessel, and make thee bread, therefore, according to the number of the days."
Jessica, you're 100% right, Jessica. You're 100% right. Thank you for that. Read on that.
"That shall lie upon thee side 390 days, thou shalt eat thereof. And thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day. From a time to a time shalt thou eat it. Shalt thou drink also water by measure, the sixth part of a hin.
Now, remember when Ezekiel started, the Most High spoke about besieging, that is a besiegement that's about to take place for the children of Israel.
Okay.
Well, those times are coming again. And the foods that we're eating is going to be measured by weight. It's going to happen again, family. The waters that we're drinking is going to be measured by weight. This is why now is the time to go buy some land. And if you can't afford no land, you're too broke, you don't have enough money saved up, or you can't go get it, then associate yourself with somebody who has some land and ask them to help you. Put you on a little portion of their land so you can drink water from their well, so you can eat food from their grounds. But when you do that, it's a price you got to pay. You got to go out and help them till the ground. You got to help them go out and maintain and work and do what they need to do so that they can continue to maintain a livelihood for you and for your children.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. You got to purchase some land.
Okay.
Let's just say, you got to get your body on some land so that you can live off some land, because these times are here. It happened in the days of old and it's happening now.
Okay.
The Most High is telling us everything around our lifestyles are changing. Read on, please.
And thou shalt drink water by measure.
Y'all shall drink water by measures. Bro, you got that lesson I asked you to read?
Okay.
What's the name of it?
Nightmare on M Street.
All right, come to the microphone, please, and I need you to read that portion of your lesson. This is about the foods that we eat, family. Listen up and listen well.
Okay. It says, just in case you thought it was fine to eat genetically modified foods, better identified as frankenfoods, along comes a study which makes it clear that you are eating this make-believe non-food at your own peril, and worse yet, you are feeding it to your kids.
You are feeding this poison to your children. So if you're putting bad food in you, and you're growing, and you're maturing, and yet your mind is not properly developing, you're feeding it to your children. What do you think their minds are doing?
Same thing.
So if we do this for generations after generation after generation, what type of human are we creating?
Crazy.
We are so far away from our right frame of mind that one day we won't even be able to get to our right mind state.
Okay.
Read on, please.
It is, hold on, let me repeat that. You are feeding it to your kids at their peril as well. It is important to note that Codex Alimentarius,
Just do your best.
Codex Alimentarius, which sets standards for the international trade of food, permits genetically modified foods and make no effort to limit, control, or eliminate them.
They permit the United States to sell genetically modified foods to people, but yet they know that they're killing us. It's so bad that 75 to 80% of the foods that we buy out of the supermarket is genetically modified. 70 to 80% of the foods that we buy in the supermarket is genetically modified. Read on, please.
In fact, the U.S. has been trying for years to prevent the labeling of GM foods.
That means that they don't want you to know that these foods that you're eating is genetically modified. They don't want you to know so they can keep poisoning you. Remember, the United States, they feel like the world is overpopulated.
Okay.
They need to destroy or deteriorate the majority of the people from the earth. How do they do that? With genetically modified foods. These foods are not real. These foods are grown in a laboratory, not in the ground in the earth naturally. They're grown, a lot of them, from artificial seeds. You understand? Read on, please. And then some are grown in the ground, that they plant these seeds, genetically modified seeds. They clone them, they do different grafting, and they put the seed in the ground, and the food will grow, but they can't repopulate. Some of them do, some of them don't, but they're not real food. Read on.
And seed in international trade to emulate its domestic policy, which prohibits any label indication that foods contains GM ingredients at 75 to 80% of all food sold in the U.S. in the U.S. do.
75 to 80% of the food sold in the U.S. are genetically modified.
I didn't know that.
It's like putting water. It's like putting water in your car and expect to be able to drive down south from Philadelphia.
I didn't know 75.
Yes. So you got to begin to read what you eat. Why are we having this lesson today? We're having this lesson because it's important that you understand that the foods that you eat has a direct effect on the way you think and how your brain operates, from depression to anxiety to tension, because of the foods that you eat. When a person, some of you in the audience can contest to this, when a person has a heart attack or a stroke, when they go home, they tell them to change their diet. Start eating this, start eating that. They tell you to change. Why was it necessary? Why didn't they tell you to change your diet to prevent you from having a stroke? The reason why they didn't is because they couldn't make no money off you that way. So they don't tell you what you need to know. They give you things that's going to cause you to come to them to spend your money so that this society can continue to grow.
Okay.
Thank you, bro. That's good. Total rebuttal. Let's go to Daniel's, the first chapter. Daniel's, the first chapter, please. You got to get over here. Do you know that in other countries like England, London, England, and other countries in England, other cities and states in England, they do not allow genetically modified foods there? Canada either. I was in Canada. I went there to see the Niagara Falls. I went there one weekend to see Niagara Falls. And when I rode through Canada, going to different places, I went to go get me a bag of potato chips. But I read all my chips. I read everything. Everything I eat, I read. And I wanted to know what was in the chips. And nothing genetically modified was in the chips. Nothing like the chips here in America. None of the food is like the food here in America. They don't allow that type of stuff because they know it's poisonous. But in America, they let it because it's big business. Read on, please. Daniel's, the first chapter, the first verse.
Down the first chapter, first verse, hallelujah. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house, and the Elohim which he carried unto the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels unto the treasure house of Salaka. He brought the vessels unto the treasure house of his God. And the king spoke unto Nebuchadnezzar, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain all the children of Israel to the king's seed.
Daniel's chapter 1.
And the princesses, children in whom was no blemish.
Now I need you to back up. Who did he bring? Now Nebuchadnezzar went into Jerusalem and conquered the nation, took our people over, and took them away captive. Now, what were the people that we're reading about in Daniel that he took away captive? He didn't take the worst of the bunch. He took the elite of the families. Princes, young rulers, the elite of the family, people who had money. He took their children and brought them into his castle so that they can live underneath his dominion and he could benefit from them. So these young children had a certain mind state about them. They were thinkers. They was doers. Read that apart again. What were these children that he took?
And the king spoke to Aphanas, the master of the
eunuchs,
that he should bring certain of the children of Israel.
He didn't want everybody. He wanted certain of the children of Israel. And who was those certain people that he wanted?
And the king's seed and the princesses.
They want the king's seeds, the princesses. Who else?
Children in whom was no blemish.
Children in whom was no what?
No blemish, but well favored.
They were well favored.
And skillful in all wisdom.
Skillful in all wisdom. Their minds worked on a certain cylinder. All of them. All 34 cylinders their minds worked on. You understand?
Okay.
Why was that?
And cunning and knowledge.
They were cunning in knowledge and skills in all things. Read on.
And understanding science.
And understanding science. They were the elite of the elite. These are the particular children that Nebuchadnezzar took out of Jerusalem and brought to himself. Read on, please.
And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
They had the ability to stand because they knew how to conduct themselves. They wouldn't have went up in the king's palace talking about, what's up, my nigga? They wouldn't have went up in the king's palaces arguing and fussing and screaming and howling. Put your children in the king's. Can your children stand in the king's palace?
Okay.
Most of our children don't know how to conduct themselves in our own house. How are you going to take them somewhere else and expect them to do right? Well, they are a direct result of us. That's what they are. A direct reflection of us. And a lot of foods that we put in them, a lot of foods that we feed them are going to give us the results that we get.
Okay.
But watch what happens. Read on, please.
And whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them at a daily provision of the king's meat and the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that the end therefore they might stand before the king.
I need you to read that part one more time.
And the king appointed them a daily provision of
The
king's meat.
king appointed them the king's foods, the type of foods that the king ate. He appointed certain foods for them so that when it came time after 3 years of eating this food, because them kids looked like they were skinny, they looked, so the king felt like, man, we're going to feed them, we're going to buff them up, we're going to work them out, and in 3 years, I want you to bring them to me.
Okay.
But watch what happens. Read on.
And of wine which he drank, and nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For they unto Daniel he became Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, and to Mishael Meshach, and to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego.
So Daniel and the other 3 brothers, remember, they were the elite of the house of Judah.
Okay.
They were the elite.
Okay.
They were princes and royalties and wealthy men's children that was learned and educated. So now, they were in the midst of all those people who went to live in the king's palace. What happens?
But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat.
Daniel said, we're not eating the king's meat. What's wrong with the king's meat, family? What's wrong with the king's meat?
It's not.
GMO.
Exactly. It's not.
This king's meat is GMO.
Yeah, it's not.
It's GMO. Listen, it is what it is. It's GMO. 75 to 80% of it is genetically modified. Daniel said, we ain't eating the king's meat because the king didn't eat a healthy diet based on how the Most High had ordained for it to be.
Okay.
But watch what Daniel does. This is what I love about this. Daniel doesn't say, bring me a piece of meat, a clean piece of cheesesteak, or get me a hot dog or some fish. Daniel says, give me what? Read on.
Nor was the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself.
I don't want to defile myself. So to be on the safe side of things, because you go to the supermarket today and you buy stuff, don't you know that they put pork in almost everything at the supermarket? Well, Prince, I eat turkey sausages. Do you know that those turkey sausages that you eat, 99% of the time are wrapped in pork casing? It's pig skin that holds the turkey sausage together. Well, you say, well, Prince, I eat vitamins. Well, do you know that 99% of the vitamins you eat are wrapped in pork casing? They use pork to contain the pill so that the powder stays together and you eat it. Well, I don't eat the powder, kid. I don't eat the pills. I eat the capsules. Do you know that they take pork and make you. When you go buy these things, you gotta buy vegan capsules. Vegetarian capsules might not even be clean. You gotta buy vegan capsules, which they may not even be clean. You never know. But it says vegan, and if it ain't clean, you can sue them. You understand? When you buy turkey sausages, you gotta make sure those turkey sausages is 100% turkey, and that they're using turkey casings or beef casings or whatever the case is, because I'm about to upset your stomach. They put pork in almost every form of meat that you eat. Let me show you this. Let me share this with you. Don't lose your spot, please. I watched a documentary about a year or two ago about hamburgers. How in the meat industry, they mix hamburgers when they ground it up with pig. Now the hamburgers are beef. They're not ham as the name says, hamburger.
Right.
They're beef hamburgers. An oxymoron, but you never paid attention to that. Ham is ham. So how you got a hamburger that's beef? But they gave it to us, didn't they? And we eat them, don't we? See how we not thinking? So what they did was they took the ground beef, and when they ground it up, they take pig and pork to stretch the meat. To expand it so that they can make more money. Because pigs is inexpensive. The cows are expensive. So they take the cow, mix the cow, ground it up, make the patties, and sell them to you. And you walking around proud like you serving the Creator, talking about, I only eat beef and turkey and chicken and fish. I don't eat pork. So you think. Why do they do that? They say so they can make more money, which they do. I say, this is my opinion, so that your mind can properly operate and you can see what your life really entails. Because if you see how ugly your life really is, you're going to fight for your life and for your freedom. So in order to keep you sleep and docile, they put things in your food that's going to keep your mind not working on 100 cylinders. Remember that car that we put that water in and only got around the block? If you keep putting the wrong things in your body, your mind won't operate right. They know that. So they put things in that food so that we can eat it. Why do you think the supermarket is filled with 75 to 80% of GMO foods, genetically modified foods? And GMO actually stands for genetically modified organisms. They do that so that you don't wake up to the knowledge that you are the children of Most High. And that you don't step off. But you see how the Most High reversing the curse, right? We waking up, ain't we? But we waking up and we still holding on to idolatry. We still want to worship somebody that died for our sins. See, because our minds are not all there. We haven't gotten our healthy minds back yet. A lot of us, we haven't realized that these things that we need to do to get right before the Almighty. We haven't realized it. So we do what we do when we do it because we do it. We do it because they taught us to do it. Examine your life, family, and know why you do what you do. Begin to question your religion and the things that you hold and you call sacred and valuable to you. Question it with a rational mind. But I wouldn't question it until after I fasted for about a week. Fast for about a week and then begin your questioning. Because as long as your mind is polluted with this poison, this filth, this pork, you ain't going to be able to see. Read on that, please.
We're Daniel chapter 1, verse 9, hallelujah. Now Elohim had brought Daniel unto favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear the Elohim, the king who has appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse and likened than the children which are of your sort?
I remember years ago when I told my uncle that I don't eat meat anymore. Years ago. My uncle said, man, meat is what give you that meat is what make you strong. And then I found weightlifters who was the world-class weightlifters, who was the best, totally vegan. Totally vegan. I found out that in the military, special forces, tactical teams, when you go in certain places, they train you and prepare you, you're totally vegan. You eat off of the earth. Totally vegan. So your mind got to be sharp when your special SEALs teams and all that stuff, Navy team. I don't know them personally, but I'll leave it like that. Through research and study. Your mind got to be a certain way. So they feed you foods that's going to keep your mind sharp. Because when you're out there in enemy territories, the least little thing you have to be prepared for. You got to be prepared for cold. You got to be prepared for heat. You got to be prepared for the sneak attack. You got to be prepared for a lot of things that you might not even know that you needed to be prepared for. But guess what you had to be prepared for? Mosquitoes. Natural things. Well, mosquitoes are less attracted to vegans than they are regular people who eat meat. Because it's the secretion of the poisons from the food in your body that the mosquitoes are attracted to. They have a reason for everything that they do when they prepare you for warfare. Are we getting prepared for warfare?
Yeah.
We need to be, don't we? See, these things you don't pay attention to. These things you don't even know for a lot of us. Why is my phone saying low battery and the phone is on the charger? Don't make sense. Oh, maybe the charger ain't all the way in. There you go. Won't happen again. I like that. See, if I was eating meat, my phone, it would have cut off and I wouldn't have been able to know what the problem was. But because I'm fasting right now, I've been fasting all week. But because I'm fasting right now, that thought came in my mind. Oh, check that part right there. And that thing showed up. But had I been eating some cow's meat or some processed foods, that wouldn't have happened. You know I gotta go like that.
Oh,
Gotta
man.
go like that. So go ahead, let's read on, please.
Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king.
So he's scared. He's afraid that if he allowed Daniel to eat the diet that Daniel wants, in that 3 years when he present him to the king, he's going to be skinny and weak looking and sickly looking because he's like starving. But that ain't what vegan diet does for you. If you eat right and in your foods, everything that you eat is going to be nourishment for your body. Your body will develop properly. You'll be the size that you were supposed to be. Read on.
Then said Daniel to Mezar, whom the prince of the Enochs had set over Daniel, Hananiah and Michael and Isaiah. Prove thine servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat
Daniel said,
and water
prove it.
to drink.
Daniel said, prove it. I'm going to prove to you that a vegan diet is better than you eating meat. Read on.
Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of our children that eat the portion of the king's meat. And thou shalt see if deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in his manner.
So he gave him his desire. He said, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to let you eat what you eat and let them eat what they eat. And then we're going to compare y'all and see who looks the best. And whoever looks the best, then we're going to go with that diet for those 3 years. Read on. We're talking about a vegan diet versus eating the king's meat diet with the GMO, the pork, and everything else in it. Read on, please.
And prove them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer, and the fatter in the flesh than the children that did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and wine
So
they should drink.
That's fine. What happened was, at the end of the day, when they didn't eat the king's meat, the meat that was fed with GMO and sacrificed to idols and all that type stuff, because you know that's what the king meat was.
Okay.
The king had multiple deities that they worship. People think they're powers for their food. This is why you cannot go and eat people who worship JC or people who worship anybody other than the Creator. You're not supposed to eat their food.
Okay.
So when you got a Hebrew Israelite saying, I'm eating halal food,
Can't do it.
well, are they worshiping the Creator?
No.
Because unless they are true Muslim, and we don't have many true Muslims in the earth today, unless they are true Muslim, then they don't understand how to worship the Creator through the way of Islam. They don't understand that. But yet they have foods and supermarkets and all these places where they're slaughtering these animals in the name of their deity. You, being a Hebrew Israelite, thinking you eating something cool because they're our cousins, you go and partake of that food. You're eating food sacrificed to idols.
Exactly.
The Most High tells us not to eat food sacrificed to idols.
Okay.
But a lot of Israelites don't understand that, and they eat kosher food. I know New York is big on that. A lot of brothers and sisters in New York eat halal food.
Okay.
And they think that it's closer to the proper foods to eat, but it's a mistake. Okay? What I want you to do, my brothers, turn to Psalms 141.
Psalms 141.
Let me know when you get there.
Yes, sir.
Psalms 141.
41. I'm there.
Verse 4.
Verse 4.
Psalms 141, verse 4.
Psalms 141, verse 4. Hallelujah. Incline not my heart to any evil thing.
Incline not thine heart to any evil thing.
To practice wicked works
To practice wicked works
with men that work iniquity.
with men that worketh iniquity. Remember when I told you about your association is one of the things that you eat that causes you to sin against the Creator?
Okay.
When you got people in your company that you know that's not living right. For females, you got female sisters and friends that you trying to walk the right life and wear a skirt every day and dress like the queen that you naturally are. You're not promiscuous with men. You don't have sex with anybody that you're not married to. You don't do certain things. You don't bow down to any idols. But yet those people that you have close to you that you call your homie, your sister, your brother, however they are, they practice all those abominations. But yet they're your friend. They're your close companions. They're your trusted comrades. You see, this is what the Most High is talking about. These type of people you should not associate with on that level. But watch what the Most High says. Start over from the beginning.
Start from the beginning. Incline not my heart to any evil thing, and to practice wicked works with men that work iniquity, and let me eat not their dainties.
He said, let him do what?
Eat not their dainties.
Let me eat not the food that they provide. Do you understand that?
Okay.
You understand that? You don't eat food from wicked people. Well, is this government on point?
No.
So why are we eating their food? We know that they're wicked people. We know that they have no good in our hearts, in their hearts for us. We know this, but yet we supply. We supply our kitchens. We fill our houses with foods that we get from them always, and we make no preparations to grow our own food in our own gardens.
Okay.
We do nothing to provide for ourselves. As the Most High said in the book of Deuteronomy, you shall rely on your enemies for all things.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we do today. If our enemy said, you ain't going to be able to use no electric in this city no more. Bang! Electric is off. What can we do? We won't have no electric. If the enemy said, I don't want y'all having no water, and he shut off the water from the reservoirs. Bang! Water off. What do? We ain't got no wells. See, this is why it's so important that the next chapter that we're about to read is so extremely important. And how the Most High tells us what it is that we need to do to prepare ourselves for these times that are coming. Open your books, please, to Jeremiah, the 20th chapter. Now that you heard, you're responsible to do. You have to begin to do these things and implement these teachings in your life to better your life, to draw closer to the Most High King. And tell the oppressor, you don't want to be a slave no more. A lot of us have a problem with that, letting the oppressor go and allowing his ways to be released from us. But no more. It's time now. We got to let him go. You taking a long time to get to Jeremiah.
I'm right here. I got you. I'm right here. I got you. I'm right here.
3 books
I got you.
in front of Daniel, I believe it is.
I got you. I'm right
Jeremiah
here.
20.
Jeremiah 20.
Go to verse 4, please, and read it for me.
Jeremiah 20, verse 4. Hallelujah. For thus saith the Elohim, behold, I will make 3 a terror to thyself and to all thy friends, and they shall fall by the sword of their enemies.
What book are you reading in, huh?
Jeremiah
Verse what?
4.
Chapter?
Oh, chapter 4. I thought you said chapter 20, verse 4.
Chapter 20.
Yeah.
29.
29. See, I'm
Chapter 29.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
After
My apologies. I accept that. That's my bad. I apologize for getting on you, trying to make fun of you.
You said verse 4? 29?
Chapter 29, verse 4.
Here we go. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4, hallelujah. Thus saith the Elohim of hosts, and the Elohim of Israel, unto all that are carried away by captives.
Stop for a second.
Yes, sir.
Are we carried away captive? Were we carried away captive?
Cain.
Right? Do
Cain.
we live in Babylon today, modern day Babylon?
Cain.
Okay, so does the Most High possibly be talking to us?
Cain.
Read on, please. Let's see what the Most High says.
whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses and dwell in them.
Build ye what?
Build ye houses
He
and
said,
dwell
build
in
ye
them.
houses and dwell in the houses that you build. Read on.
And plant gardens
And
and
do
eat
what?
the fruit of them.
And do what?
Plant gardens
Go to
and eat the
supermarket.
fruit of them.
Go to supermarket.
Plant gardens and eat the fruit of them.
Go to dollar store.
Plant gardens and eat the fruit of them.
Go to Safeway.
Plant gardens and eat the fruit of them.
Acme.
Plant gardens and eat the fruit of
I
them.
can't say it enough, family. You got to understand that this book was written for you, the children of Israel, so you will know the things that are going to befall you. The Most High can't make it no clearer. When you go into captivity, plant you some gardens. And then don't just plant them, but eat the food of your own garden. Give the oppressor back his poison. Give him back his poison. And watch, as soon as the sun go down, Shabbat over, we're going right out there to buy some more poison. And even when we buy it, we ain't going to buy no seeds so we can come back and grow our own food. We ain't going to do that. We're going to go buy some poison and say, I don't know what Prince was talking about. Remember that man that was real skinny that came to the coach and wanted to learn how to bulk up his muscles? Remember that sinner that came to the righteous man and said, sir, I want to learn how to do what you do, get what you get, and be who you are?
Okay.
You understand that? So shall it be with this lesson. Utilize this lesson to catapult you to where you need to be in the ways of the Almighty in righteousness. These lessons will help you to clear your mind, to be a free thinker in a manner in which you are able to do what you must do, not what your body tells you to do. Do you know that those little radicals inside your body is stronger than your conscious mind? Where those little cells inside your body desire and have a craving for foods, they tell your mind what to think, and your little weak mind gets up and go do it. Do you know that it's just that bad? What am I saying? I'm saying that the poison that you eat, your body begin to get addicted to those poisons. Whereas if you shut those poisons out, your body start craving them. You don't believe me? Stop eating sugar. Try it for a week. Stop eating sugar for a week. And watch your body start, man, just eat an orange, apple. Just eat something sweet. Go get some candy. Go get some ice cream. Go get some junk. You eat an orange and an apple, it's going to still try to come back because it wants the bad sugar. It don't want the good sugar.
Okay.
It wants the bad sugar like a taffy or water ice. Like he told me, yeah, I like taffy. Talking about that candy, little baby, hear me. So what happens is your body start craving these things. And unless you are strong like Ezekiel was, who had to have a disciplined mind, unless you're like that, you're going to give in to these cravings. Okay? So build it up, family. Build it up by eating the foods that are proper, right, and wholesome. All natural foods that is best for your body. Remember that car? You put water in the gas tank, you ain't going to get nowhere.
Okay.
But you put what is made and designed to eat, to consume, which was gasoline, unleaded gasoline. Matter of fact, if you get unleaded gasoline and get the high test, the premium, your car run even better.
Okay.
You can get the regular gasoline and you'll be all right. But you get the premium, boy, soon. Read on, please. Where you at?
I'm at Daniel chapter 29.
You don't need to read no more. I think you read enough.
Okay.
Build ye houses and plant ye vineyards and gardens. Let me ask you a question. For those who are still with us, share the page. Go out, share the page, invite others in, and let them also get some of this knowledge. Let me ask you a question. What was the original diet that the Most High gave for all the earth to eat?
Fruits, berries, things of that nature, plants of the earth. You talking about the original one he gave Adam and Eve, right? Yeah.
What was it? You know? The original diet that the Most High gave for all mankind to eat was a vegan diet. They were supposed to be vegan. They weren't even supposed to be vegetarian, which meant that they weren't even supposed to eat fish. They were supposed to be vegan. And I think you find that in Genesis, the 2nd chapter. It says, And out of the ground made the Creator Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasing to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When you go to your supermarket, it's like going to the tree for food. You got good food and you got bad food, depending on what tree you pick off of. Do y'all follow me?
Okay.
Every tree that you see does not produce good food.
Okay.
Some food will kill you. So when you go to the supermarket, all the food you see, just because it's there don't mean it's good for you.
Okay.
See, Eve made that mistake. Eve ate off the supermarket shelf food that she wasn't supposed to eat.
Okay.
And then she took it back to her husband, and that fool ate it too. After he received the instructions, but really, I don't blame her. I blame him
Okay.
for not being on point,
Yeah, exactly.
watching his wife, and him having dominion and authority over his wife like he was supposed to. He's supposed to make sure for no treat, eat the food she wasn't supposed to eat. I really blame him. You know?
Absolutely.
A lot of people want to say it was Eve's fault. I don't believe it was Eve's fault. I believe if the man was on point like he was supposed to be, things would be different. Okay. So I want to bring that to your attention because I need you to watch and see and understand. When Eve, when Hawa began to eat what she wasn't supposed to eat, right? That set a precedence in the earth. Go with me to the 9th chapter of Genesis. You all way over there so he can read it. I mean, I don't want you to come over here because you got the baby.
9th chapter.
Read Genesis, the 9th chapter, please.
Sure.
You know, today is a Shabbat day. And a lot of people were supposed to do a lot of things today to go worship and honor and praise the Most High that they did not do because they got weak. Because 90% of the foods that they eat is keeping the proper spirit from being within them to want to do what they're supposed to do. 9th chapter, the book of Genesis. 9 and 1, please.
Genesis, the 9th chapter, verse 1, hallelujah. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Read on.
And fear of you, Salaka, and
The
the fear of
you
you,
and the
the
dread
of you shall be upon every beast on the earth.
Now, why did the Most High have to say this? Now, I'm trying to take you somewhere in my book that I haven't produced yet. I haven't put it in production yet. I'm ready to give you a little portion of my book. So I'm not going to go into it in great details because I don't want to reveal everything to you, but I'm going to reveal something that I think is key to this situation. Why was it important that the Most High said to Noah, that the fear of you and the dread of you should be upon every beast of the field and all the animals? Why was that important?
To let them know that they had dominion over them.
Okay.
Because they was the meat there, brother.
Say it again.
Because they the meat.
What?
Sound like it's dreadful, but that's also considered like the meat we eat, right?
Say it again. I need to understand fully what you're saying.
Like, you're saying that it's if that's basically like meat that we consume or eat if it's like bad for us in a way.
Okay, you lost me.
I
thought you was ready to hit me what I needed. I thought you was there, but you just lost me just now. The Most High tells them that the fear of you shall be upon all these animals. There had to be a reason why. So that leads me to think that the animals wasn't fearing man, and yet man was fearing the animals for some reason.
And that's because I think I know where you're going. That's because we wasn't killing them. We was eating other things, so they had no reason to fear us like that.
I think the animals was eating the men. And I think the men was eating men. And men was eating animals. I think that we got to that level that the Creator had to now make a law for how we're supposed to eat.
Say that again.
You got to go watch the recording, man. The recording is, key. In my opinion, and I have to classify it as my opinion, I think the Creator brought the flood on because the world had gotten so far out of righteousness. He already told Adam and Hawa that the food that you're going to eat is right here on the tree. But men began to eat men, and men began to eat animals, and animals began to eat men. That the world was so far out of whack that the Most High said, I'm going to destroy all that, and just you and you are going to survive. What did Noah and them eat on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights?
Vegan meal, basically like fruits, vegetables, anything that seed of itself.
The only thing is that I can't prove it. You understand?
Right, but I don't think there's nothing to say that he killed nothing on there.
That's right.
You know what I mean? There's
That's
nothing
right.
that say he killed
Either
nothing.
way we go, there's nothing for us to prove one way or another what he ate. You scaring me now. All right? In my opinion, the reason why the Most High comes with the 9th chapter and gives us law now for the 9th chapter is because this is what we were doing. These were the abominations that we began to do, and this was his reason for destroying the earth. The reason why is because we started eating food, and if you look at it, man became like real crazy. Real crazy. And when man became real crazy, they started eating things that they wasn't supposed to eat, which also shows you that the foods you eat affects your mind. It affects your mind. So the Most High gave laws in the 9th chapter for now, if you're going to eat meat, then eat it this way. Cook it, and cook it thoroughly. Because the blood is the soul of the animal.
Right.
And we were consuming the soul of the animal, which was altering us and making us beast-like. The Most High said, I want you to cook all the blood out of it so that you're not beast-like any longer.
Okay.
All right? Just do some research on that and read it and study it and see what you come up with. But that's my opinion on why the Most High brought on the first flood, because we were so wicked. And a part of that wickedness was contributed to what we were eating. That's why the Most High came. As soon as the flood was over, he brought a dietary law now.
That's a big part of the responsibility.
A dietary law from the door. He ain't saying nothing else. He ain't said nothing about worship me and serve me. You practicing the diet. He said, this is what you should eat from now on. And if you're going to eat it, this is the way I want you to eat it.
Yeah.
Something to think about. May the Most High be pleased. And may the Most High be praised forever and forever. Total Rabbah family, go study, research, share. Help us to get to that 80 million. Total Rabbah. Shalom, shalom. Any questions?
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm good.